Let's discuss Etz Chaim's financial goals. Everyone seems to think that Etz Chaim is a very wealthy institution. After all, until recently, they owned the large Etz Chaim Machane Yehuda campus on Yaffa Road, and they own many stores in the Machane Yehuda market, as well as apartments in the center of the city, including the Etz Chaim neighborhood that's directly across the street from the central bus station. Etz Chaim recently sold its historical Machane Yehuda campus on Yaffa Road. It was a very hard decision, but they really had no choice. Jerusalem's light rail cut off all access to the school. The school buses were letting the children off some 1.5 blocks away, and the children had to walk through a neighborhood that was not really appropriate for religious students. They invested the money in a new campus in the center of the Orthodox neighborhoods. Etz Chaim purchased these properties over 100 years ago. The goal was to use the proceeds from the apartments and the stores to cover the cost of running the yeshiva. That's because Etz Chaim has always tried to be financially independent. We do not want to rely on outside contributions. Etz Chaim faces 4 major obstacles in attaining its goal of financial independence. Key money, that's the little keys on the bottom. Hakdashot, dedication, that's the candle. Landmark, preserved landmark, that's the little house that we see. The cost of rent and renovation, that's the little pile of money. Let's look at each of them separately. Key money, or in Hebrew demei mafteach, and in Yiddish, Schlüsselgeld. When Etz Chaim originally purchased the properties under the Turks, they were regular properties. But later on, during the British Mandate government, the Brits attempted to stop inflation by freezing rents. With the demand for housing far exceeding the supply, and the rents kept ludicrously low, leaving tenants began demanding what became known as key money from incoming tenants. This practice was eventually legalized. Today, that means that our tenants are paying between 1 to 10% of what they would be paying on the free market. For example, rent for a store in the Machane Yehuda marketplace is, at most, some $25 per month. And that's if we're lucky. Sometimes our tenants refuse to pay, as they know it's almost impossible for us to evict them. For a store that is not key money, that was not converted into a key money property by the Brits, we'd be getting around $2,000 per month rent. Yes, it is possible to convert a key money apartment to a rental apartment, but it can only be done at certain times. For example, when the owner dies or leaves on his own accord. In addition, approximately 40% of the property's value must be given to the tenant or the tenant's heirs. It's obvious that the resale value on a key money apartment is minimal. We are slowly converting these properties and selling them on the free market, but it's an expensive and lengthy process. The next obstacle is hakdashot, or dedications. Properties we often donated with conditions as to how they could be used. The Machane Yehuda campus, for example, was given on condition that if it were to be sold, the proceeds would immediately be reinvested in the new property. The condition was binding. In addition, because the laws are so complex, there are high legal fees in any transaction involving a dedicated property. Yes, we are slowly selling these properties, but it is a lengthy and expensive process. The Machane Yehuda campus is a historical landmark, and according to the law, everything, including the memorial plaques and the flooring, must be preserved. These restrictions greatly impacted the building's resale value. Etz Chaim was able to purchase its new campus at a relatively inexpensive price because it is presently under a 3-year lease to a different institution. Meanwhile, however, we are paying a high monthly rent on our temporary quarters, while at the same time repaying the loan we took out to cover the difference between the two campuses. In addition, renovations will need to take place before we can move into our new campuses. Our challenges are really short-term, but because we have 170 years worth of very strong roots, we will hopefully be able to weather these difficulties and reap the future benefits. Let's take a quick look at the pros and cons of our future campus. Let's begin with the pros. Low initial investment. The new campus was purchased at less than its real value. Central location. A lot of parents wanted their children to receive an Etz Chaim education, but did not enroll their children in our school because of how the neighborhood around the old campus had changed. The day we left our Machane Yehuda campus, over 100 new students enrolled in the school. We estimate that upon moving into our new campus, our student body will grow by a minimum of 25%. Future expansion. Our new campus encompasses a full city block, so we definitely have room to grow. Commercial income. In keeping with our goal of financial independence, some 40% of the new property is zoned for commercial use. Etz Chaim plans on constructing a shopping area. The proposed income should cover a large percentage of our operational costs. The cons are what I call short-term challenges. Waiting 3 years to move in, covering the cost of rent for those 3 years, and the initial cost of renovations. The following chart will give you a graphic picture of our financial plan. More detailed charts are available on request. As you can see, at present, in the year 2012, 40% of our incomes comes from donations and loans. In 5 years' time, after we sold some of our key money properties and developed our commercial property on the new campus, we project that with Hashem's help, we will have enough generated income to cover 94% of our costs. Although at present Etz Chaim Jerusalem is weathering a difficult storm, we have the roots and the presently inaccessible assets to weather that storm. The strength of our future lies in our past. Founded in 1841 by Rav Shmuel Salant, Jerusalem's beloved chief rabbi for over 70 years, Etz Chaim has exemplified and continues to exemplify educational excellence.